Many times on this programme we've mentioned the EU Cross-Border Healthcare Directive. This allows people to access medical treatment in other European countries, and that are these particular treatments are fully reimbursed by the HSE. And a lot of people are aware of it, a lot of people aren't. And I do know as we speak this morning there are probably thousands of listeners who are waiting for hip or knees or any joint operation or any operation for that matter. You're on a HSE waiting list and it could take years. I'm joined on the programme this morning by John Sweeney from Achill Island. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Tommy. How are you?
I'm all right. Thank you for joining us. You had a problem with your elbow.
Tommy, my elbow needed to be replaced. I needed a total replacement joint. Both my elbows have literally collapsed, with arthritis as one of the reasons, and wear and tear, as I was a landscape gardener and I worked in the days before there was machines that could do everything for you, so it was just a lot of wear and tear on top of it.
So effectively the elbows were gone. You went to your GP, you were sent to a consultant, the usual.
Gone in the joint, yeah.
So you needed a reconstruction surgery. You were put on a HSE waiting list. When?
Well, the waiting list, if I can explain it to you this way, there's 4 doctors advertising that they do elbow work in Ireland, and my GP was contacting them by emails to see if I could get onto their waiting list, and none of them replied to us. Not one of them. It seems as if there hasn't been an elbow replacement done in Ireland for up to 17, 20 years.
Right.
And it's not done anymore.
So effectively, there was no surgeon in Ireland that seemed interested to do your elbow reconstruction. You're in severe pain, presumably on a lot of medication, and you're not doing well. So how did you get into this EU Cross-Border Healthcare Directive?
Yes.
What happened?
So what happened was basically my ex and very good friend Noreen met somebody in Donegal that had their hip or knee joints replaced, and they had been in Spain. And she explained to them, or the lady explained to Noreen that she has sent over, explained the whole scheme to her, and Noreen says, "My God, this should sort out John's problems." So she did the right thing. Instead of waiting for me, she contacted Health Abroad Scheme. And they said, "Wow, this is a new one for us. We haven't had this before. Let us come back to you." And in 2 days they came back and said, "We have found a doctor in Madrid. We'll do this surgery, and if he has a passport ready and he's willing to travel quickly, he'll have them done before Christmas." So literally I had 10 days to get myself together and head to Madrid.
And this, John, was after waiting how long to see if you could source... Are we talking
3 years?
Years, where? 3 years.
Yeah.
Right. And suddenly then, in 10 days, you can locate a surgeon in Spain that's willing to do the reconstruction.
Yes, correct.
So pack your bags and off to Spain you go.
Off you go.
What was the experience like?
It was amazing. And I explained for your listeners the system, how it works for them. When Chris, the boss man in Health Abroad Scheme, came back to me, he put me then in contact with another facilitator in their scheme, a fellow called Paul. And basically what you do is you take out a loan with the credit union, and the credit union then take over your case, and amazingly Castlebar and Achill, the first choice, were excellent with this, and they got a loan facilitated for me straight away. And basically you pay for the surgery, and in 4 months, this HSE abroad scheme, healthcare abroad scheme, repay that money back into your account again.
100% of it?
100% for all the surgery and all the consultations. The only thing that don't pay for is your travel and your accommodation while you're there, because obviously it's a healthcare scheme, it's an operation. The rest of it you have to pony up for.
And do you mind me asking, John, how much the surgery cost?
The elbow replacement was 16,000.
16 grand, right.
Yeah.
And in terms of having to pay hospital charges or anything like that, was that included in the 16 grand?
That's included. You get that. You get all that. You get the only thing you don't pay for is your travel, your accommodation, and your prescription.
How long were you in hospital in Spain?
Believe it or not, it was less than 24 hours. 4.5 hours of surgery, and literally I was chased out the next morning and told to go back to your accommodation, recover there.
And how long did you stay in your accommodation before you flew home?
There for 3 days, and I travelled on the Wednesday. It was surgery on the Saturday, came home on the Wednesday.
And has it been a success?
A total success, Tommy. I can't believe that I haven't my elbow, my arm back again, the full function of it. The physio is over and everything, and this is 5 months after the surgery. I can safely say that my arm is fully functioning, fingers, everything, and I can do light work with it and do jobs now.
That's great. What about the other elbow? You mentioned that both of your elbows were struggling. Does this mean you really need elbow construction on your other elbow?
Yes, that's what I'm heading for now. I'm going to do that. They told me that the surgeon will see me sometime from September onwards.
So if it had been your knee or your hip, the same would have applied. If you had been contact or you got in touch with healthcare abroad, you'd have been able, once you were able to source the funding to pay up front, you would be reimbursed within probably 5 or 6 months.
4 months, exactly. They told me it would be 4 months, and it was actually before 4 months. They were on the nail with the money. There was no problem at all. There was no re-raw or paperwork or anything. Once you're there, they do all the paperwork is done for you. But Tommy, when you actually arrive in Spain or any destination where they will be sending you, you have facilitators there straight away on the ground. You're met at the airport by somebody who'll bring you to your accommodation, translate everything for you, and then they'll bring you to all your hospital appointments. And inside in the hospital, then they have a facilitator as well on top of it, and she guides you through the whole system. So basically, you turn up 2 feet on the ground in the hospital, and the facilitator takes over from there. You are brought through all the different sections of the hospital. You don't have to open your mouth until somebody asks you a question. They do everything for you.
And John, your medical files, were they transferred over from your GP to the hospital in Spain?
That was done excellently here by the local clinic here. Shannon and the girls and Dr. Amaral sent over everything that was needed by email, and when I arrived there, everything that they had, they only needed an extra little x-ray, just to be sure. But everything already had been transferred over there, and it was just so easy.
You know how we hear all of these scare stories about people who go for implants to Turkey and for surgery, for Botox surgery and all that, and that they end up being a disaster. Was that a worry for you? And obviously your experience was quite the opposite. But were you going there thinking, God, I hope this isn't a butcher job?
No, Tommy, I wasn't one bit worried, because at that stage the pain that I was in and the suffering that was going on, and I was in sheer agony. I just was hoping that everything that would just get on the plane and go. And once I met the surgeon, he totally put me at ease. He just couldn't understand why I had been left in pain so long and the condition of my elbow. So he said, you're not to worry. He said, this is all going to be looked after. And oh boy, was it looked after. It was just excellent. It was an amazing experience from start to finish.
Yeah.
And the aftercare from the Health Abroad scheme too, the phone calls to make sure that everything was all right and everything was covered, that everything was okay.
And did you have to pay healthcare abroad a fee?
No, absolutely nothing. They do everything for you. They guide you through the whole system. From once I talked to Chris, he put me on to Paul, who took me to the credit union facilities. He explained it all. Then there was Sorsha, who organised the travel if you weren't able to do it yourself. And then there was other fellas, Kevin, and the team are amazing. And not once do you have to put your hand in your pocket. They are just amazing facilitators.
And the 16 grand, as you say, you paid that up front, and then you were fully 100% reimbursed by the HSE.
Yes. Yeah. For your
Yeah.
surgery and for, as I explained, yeah.
Okay, it's called the EU Cross-Border Directive. What would you say to anybody this morning, John, who is waiting on a list for a hip replacement or a knee or an elbow or whatever it might be, and in total pain, thinking that it's going to take years for this to happen? What would you say they should do?
Pick up the phone and ring Health Abroad Scheme. They're advertising it on TV now, if you'll notice, before the news, as I see it often. And they are an amazing facility, an amazing team. It's a gem of a scheme, but it's so little known about. But this is now, today is all about this. It's just to let people know that this Health Abroad Scheme is just the bee's knees. It is everything you can dream of. And you shouldn't be in pain like I was suffering, and you will get total relief, and with God's willing, you know, that it will be all a success for you.
When are you hoping to have the other elbow done?
I'm so looking forward to getting this other elbow done, but my new elbow is now replacing it for the simple things of even a cup of tea. That's what's lifting the cup now. It's just amazing. Tommy, it's completely changed my life. And if I'm going to say one thing, I'm going to say to people, don't be afraid. Contact this Health Abroad Scheme team, and their number is on the internet and everything. All the information is there.
Yeah, I'm going to give the phone number in a second. So if listeners want to get a pen and a piece of paper, I'll give that number just at the end of the interview, which is in just literally a couple of minutes' time. It's an incredible story to think that you were going around in pain for so long, and it was only by chance that one individual mentioned it to somebody else, and then suddenly the domino effect kicked in.
The journey has just been amazing, and how quickly it happened. And do you know, it didn't even give me time to think, because 10 days is quite short to get your life organised and to get moving. But Tommy, it was a seamless journey. I can really safely say that. It's so well organised, and the facilitations over there in Madrid or wherever you're going, they have everything on the ground. I was embarrassed, you know, to think that they had this facility and that I didn't know about it. But even the medical teams here in this country, I've just talked to a lot of people about it, and a lot of them didn't even know about that these facilities existed either. So it's really, what they're doing now is they're advertising and letting people know that this is out there. And you have a choice, and if you need to go for it, all you need to do is, to qualify as far as I know, is to be an Irish resident and get a letter from your GP and consultant to say you need this, and work with the Health Abroad Scheme team, and off you go.
It's called the EU Cross-Border Healthcare Directive, and it has obviously helped not just John, but lots of other people. I think about 2,000 patients across comprehensive healthcare and faster recovery programs have so far availed of it through healthcare abroad. So if you are this morning struggling, waiting on a waiting list for a long, long time, and you're in pain and you need surgery, give this number a call. It's a Dublin number, 01, and the number is 267 8011. That's 01 267 8011. The company is called Healthcare Abroad. And in the case of John Sweeney from Achill Island, it was a seamless experience of getting on a plane, going to Spain, having the surgery, coming home 3 or 4 days later, having his physio, and now, John, your elbow is as good as it ever was.
It surely is, Tommy. It has been a terrific story to tell you, and a great success. It has totally changed my life, and I'm looking forward to an extended 20 or 30 years more of enjoyment.
Well, please God, you'll get even more than that, John, and you might even do another little spot of gardening, if only for yourself. Listen, thanks so much for joining us. That's John Sweeney there from Achill Island, the man who went to Spain for his elbow reconstruction surgery as part of the EU Cross-Border Healthcare Directive. So that number again for Healthcare Abroad, 01 267 8011.